Shalom and welcome to another Daily Bread series. I'm so blessed you joined me today. Let's get into the Word of God. Today's word comes from the book of Mark, chapter 1 and verse 35. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he got up and went out and made his way to a deserted place. And he was praying there. This wasn't the only area in the Gospels that it was recorded that Jesus would go to deserted and abandoned places to pray. It was common knowledge among his disciples to see that Jesus's patterns of going off and praying early in the morning was his thing. When they were in need of him, when they were seeking him out, they knew, hey, he's probably praying. And they were the disciples, so they would see Jesus's patterns and how he was constantly in this place of prayer. When Judas betrayed Jesus, he went out and prayed. Every time we see Jesus would go back to this place of prayer, whenever he needed to make decisions, whenever he needed strength, whenever there was something going down, we always found Jesus in this place of prayer. When Jesus was being tempted to do things the world's methods and the world's way rather than his Father's way, we see Jesus was found in this place of prayer, according to Matthew chapter 4. When it was time for Jesus to choose his disciples, he prayed the entire night. Luke 6 and 12. If the Son of the living God prayed in this fashion in order to determine the Father's mind, shouldn't we also be found in prayer in order to discover the Father's will daily in our lives, being in this place of prayer and meditation, always focused on God? We know that Jesus was constantly surrounded by crowds. He knew that he had to break away and go to these deserted places in order to hear the Father's voice clearly. Jesus knew the power of prayer. In a world where many people were trying to influence Jesus's direction and the way he was going in his life and the places he went, he needed to know and to understand what his Father's will was. Jesus knew his mission to remain obedient to whatever the Father desired him to do, whatever miracles, whatever encounters that lied before him. He was constantly in this place of prayer. It was truly his prayer life that set the agenda for his ministry, according to Luke chapter 6 and 12. Prayer brought the Son of Man encouragement in critical moments of his life. Prayer enabled Jesus to accept his Father's will when he was going to go to the cross. And the prayers that he prayed kept him there on the cross despite the excruciating pain. And as Jesus, being our teacher, aka our rabbi, we must follow in his footsteps and remember that each and every one of us has this great ability to go to God in prayer and spend time alone there with God, not only to seek the agenda according to his will for that day, but also for strength and encouragement, for peace, and everything else that we could need for that day, we have access to through prayer. Like that song says, oh, what privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit because we don't take it to the Lord in prayer. Don't take your prayer life for granted. It's yours. Until next week, shalom and God bless.